everybody. Welcome to Wingman's Hangar. This is an inside look at everything Cloud Imperium games and all things to do with Star Citizen. We are on episode 34. It's been a long trip. Let's hope it gets longer. What's going on this week? Lots of things going on. We have the week in review. We have forum feedback with your videos, and our very own Chris Roberts here to answer your questions. We have Wide World News, which is tidbits about the world at large that have to do with space. And we have an interview with our own designer, Blake Yates. Let's get right to it. The week in review. Check this fan gift out. All right, everybody, we got another gift. It looks like it's from Chicago. I'm not sure what it is. We'll check it out. Check it out. Whoa. It says, Dear Peterson and the CIG Austin team, along with Crytek today, we figured you could use some wall decorations at your Austin office, so I printed out some of my favorite location concept art for you to use if desired. Each is about 5 foot wide and are not trimmed, so you'll be able to frame them and get them hung any way you desire. I've been following Star Citizen since the day Bob first heard about it, and back on October 12th. Sincerely, Jim Brightung and Robert Howden, High Admiral Mule and High Admiral Zulu Sauer.
Probably closer to Mech Warrior, right?
Yeah.
Interview.
Nice.
Oh, check these out.
Wow.
That's super.
Oh, wow. That's super cool.
Wow.
Proudly cost.
Nice.
All right, let's put it over my desk. This would look good. What else?
That's a beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Someone say this.
Hey, Olivia, you should come see this, man. This is,
No kidding.
That's really cool.
Fine.
wow.
Glossy and everything.
I know, somebody had these printed up for us.
We already did something.
Yeah, I'm trying to say.
From some of our fans. All right, well, hey, what do we say, guys?
Hey.
Thank you very much. Woohoo!
Send something to Crytek.
Send some to Crytek. Wow, that's always amazing. You guys are incredible. I mean, every week it seems we get something really cool, and those posters are stinking great. When we get to the new office, hopefully soon, we'll get those things framed and up on the walls. Well, as you guys know, we're all heads down 12, 14-hour days here. So it's time. Last week we looked around the office. Let's do it again this week and see what's going on. I mean, people are crazy busy. Let's see what we can get out of them. Check it out. Should be fun if I can figure out how to turn on the light. There we go. Let's go. Wingman's Hangar. Let's take a look. Wingman's nose cam. What's going on, Harry? Got any time to talk? No time to talk. Okay, Jeffrey. Hey, Daniel, how's that desk? Ooh, there's some animations going on.
I'm beschäftigt, keine Zeit.
Jason, what's going on? You guys got no time to talk. Jeff, you want to tell us what you're doing? No. Okay. A little too busy over here. Look at this. Nobody's time to talk right now. What's going on? Elijah working on some stuff. There's Zane with some cool stuff. Hey, Ted, what's up? Too busy. Okay, Brian, you got time to?
Too busy.
No time, huh? There's Chris there leading the charge. Chris, you got time to say anything?
Hey guys.
Oh, yeah, but at least Chris will say hi. Hey, Forrest, you want to show us stuff? Yeah, no time to talk. Okay, well, you know what we can talk about here, folks, is if you see right there, Alienware has been generous enough to give us these computers to take to Gamescom. We're going to be showing, these are the demo machines we'll be doing on the episode floor, or on the floor on Saturday night. Come check it out. Thank you very much, Alienware. We got to give them back, but they're still pretty cool. So these are going to be loaded up with the hangars, and we'll have some fun, and you guys will get to see what we're working on. So everybody's pretty busy, as you can see. Let's go through here. Oh, they're busy in there too. They're busy everywhere. It's just the fact that we're all slammed trying to get the hangar done. So, hope you appreciate it. Here we come. All right. That was pretty amazing. But as you can see, folks are just slammed right now. We are killing it to do this. I mean, there's a reason nobody else releases stuff really this early in the pipeline. So we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot to do, a lot of systems in place that we're trying to finish for the demo / module for you guys. Hopefully you'll understand that this is early days, this is early in the process, and we are doing this to get your feedback, to get you involved in the process. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be really cool. But, you know, there might be a bug or two, just maybe. All right, that brings us to Gamescom. Well, next week we do have Gamescom coming up. Next Friday, what we're going to try to do is Wingman's Hangar. We're going to be in Germany all week at Gamescom. Mike, we're going to go there, right, Mike?
Absolutely, it's going to be fun.
Going to be fun. So we're going to be checking out, meeting enough people. Wear your shirts. Come see us. We'll be wearing Star Citizen shirts, by the way. RSI, and... Oh! Star Citizen. That's right. So we'll be wearing some shirts like this and some of the ones we saw last week that you might just see this week. Come find us. Come say hi. We'll interview you, fan focus. We're going to be putting up bits and pieces. So next week's show is really going to be, we probably won't stream it live. We're probably going to put together a very small show of all the fans we get to meet along the way. And we are streaming, or we're not streaming rather, we're recording Wingman's Hangar live at the geocaching trivia event next Friday night, which we will announce coordinates for and locations for about 3 to 3:30 on our forums. Can't wait to meet some of you people out there and see what's going on and have a little trivia, Star Citizen trivia challenge with some of the peeps that get there a little bit early. And then we have, of course, the big event coming on Saturday night with over 1,000 people coming by the old train station, having fun, getting to play the hangar, getting to see some of the cool stuff that Chris is going to reveal that night. It's just going to be a really, really big event. We're looking forward to it. We've been heads down for weeks on this stuff. And I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we're ready on time to show you guys what we got, because it's really cool. We also hired a new back-end web developer, Jared Jacobs, this week. He just started. You kind of got a peek. He was around the corner. We are jammed in here. Shh, don't tell the fire marshal. All right, we got Ben going to SynCom and DragonCon. Ben, our own Ben Lesnick, is going to be gone this weekend, and he flies out on Friday. He goes to one of the cons. He gets back Monday evening at 10 p.m. He goes home, kisses his new wife. Mwah! Lexi, nice to see you. And he hops a plane at 8 o'clock the next morning for Germany. The guy is dedicated. He does an amazing job. Thank you very much, Ben. And you know what? To be honest with you, everybody here is dedicated. I think all the fans are too. You can just feel the passion. And I think that's what's kind of what fuels this whole energy and this whole thing we got going here. We wanted to give you guys a little look at kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So here's kind of a look at an agile stand-up. This is a stand-up where we go through and give everybody directions. We talk about what each person's blocking thing is, what they need to do that day, who's in charge of what, and then we review everything, and then we go off and do our own tasks. So this is kind of just an inside look at what we do on a day-to-day basis with programming, design, art, production, just everything. We do this every single day. And that's how all of that works, and ta-da!
Hey guys, how you doing?
Guess who's here? Always forum feedback's much better when you're around because the fans want to hear from the master. So shall we just get right to it?
Sure.
Okay. From Demon Llama, will there be any ships in-game that are truly not flyable? In other words, aside from UEE reprisals, is there any reason I can't disable, board, and fly away on any ship I come across?
That's a good question. To be honest with you, we haven't determined whether that's the case or not. Generally, when we build all the ships, we try and make them all flyable. So even if they're not something that you would be able to buy, they actually are built and designed so you could fly them. But it's still early days. We've got a lot of stuff still to build, like the Jean ships and the Vandal ships. So I don't know whether you'd necessarily be able to fly all of them, but the intention is to try and get there.
Cool. From Alex ADB1234.
Hey Wingman, it's Alex here. And while I was out on some patrol, it looks like a group of human pirates decided to just take over my ship. And they captured it. And I don't really have the necessary firepower to take it back, so will I just be forced to jump away and abandon my fleet? Or can I actually wait for the UEE military to come and help me take my ship back?
What do you think? I mean, I think you're not really flying a fleet there.
Yeah, no. So I'm not 100% sure on what the purpose of the question is, but you're always flying your ship. So outside of the fact that perhaps you got in your Merlin little short recon fighter in a constellation and left it there, and someone snuck on and took over your ship, you generally aren't going to be leaving your ship and pirates taking over. So normally if someone attacks your ship, or whether it's NPCs or other players, and take over the ship, then you'll essentially go back to the nearest friendly planet, and that's where an insurance claim would come in, and you would get a new ship to fly again. In general, if there's an attack going on and it's in sort of a well-policed area and there are military presence or police force nearby, they will usually come to the aid of the people that are under attack, as long as they're law-abiding citizens. So it's kind of hard to say whether the UEE would show up, because I don't know where this fictional attack would happen. So in the unlawless outer fringes of UEE space, no. In the well-policed areas like near Earth or near Terra, then yes, if there's a sort of unlawful attack happening, most likely there will be law enforcement showing up.
Cool. From incompetence, will inertia be Newtonian, or will there be a resistive force that will eventually decrease a vector to 0? Application: crank my 350R vector up to max, go dark, 0 missions, run a blockade with stealth systems at max.
So in space, there is no resistive force. I mean, it is, this debate endlessly goes on, but the underlying physics are fully correct Newtonian. We just control the top speeds of the various ships and a few other things, mainly to make the game fun, but also there's sort of a pseudo science reason for it. I mean, if you're involved in dogfighting and you're making radical orientational changes, actually the forces on the human body, generally even in today's world, fighter craft can take far more G's than the actual pilot can. So kind of one of the fictions that we use for the fact that our space fighters can't fly at the speed of light and you can turn left instantly, is that you couldn't actually do that without killing yourself if you were flying as a person. So it's not a lot of fun to have a bunch of robots flying around. If we don't have inertial dampeners for the physical forces on you, then you probably would have to keep your speeds of your ship down when engaging in sort of space combat maneuvers, because otherwise, I mean, yes, you can go fast in a straight line, but then someone can always fire a laser after you, and you'll never go faster than the speed of light, so you'll probably be a sitting duck in that situation. So generally, we don't have a sort of resistive force, but we do sort of have limiting, and the fiction is that the actual ship's computers or the flight control system limits the speeds depending on the situation you're in, basically in dogfights it won't let you go too fast, because if you go too fast and try and turn quickly, it would physically do bad things to you. So I guess the short answer to that is no. You could set your speed and keep on going, and you don't have to keep thrusting to keep a certain speed.
There you go. From T-Bone Man. With the Hangar demo coming out later this month, how exactly will you be distributing it? Will it be just downloaded straight from the site, or are you going to use a downloader like Blizzard does for their games?
So we have a whole sort of content delivery patching system. Mm-hmm. So it's very similar to all the sort of big online games you have seen or played or used. So you'll download the patcher from our site. I think it's about 20 megabytes, and then that patcher will live on your machine and download the full client, and then also continually update and patch. So when we do bug fixings, or when we do new revisions of the Hangar or future stuff like the dogfighting module, it will be downloading that new data. So actually the idea is the very first code delivery of Star Citizen is actually happening with the Hangar module, and then over the next couple of years it's going to just keep growing and adding all the features. So when the Hangar, we move to the dogfighting, then it's sort of the dogfighting gets added to the Hangar, and then the planet side gets added to all that, and eventually you'll get to Squadron 42 and the full game.
All right, there you go. From Captain Mitch, he says,
"At ease, Cadet. With all the new recruits going to Squadron 42, our servers are really taking a beating. Not to mention the multiple crashes we've experienced. Your job is to make sure it does not happen again."
Warning.
What?
Warning. Imminent server crash detected.
Not again. Wingman, as you can see with the release of the Hangar app, our servers are crashing. What steps are you taking to prevent this?
well, we kind of are known for crashing servers.
That's a good video. Well, I mean, obviously we don't want things to crash, so we try really hard. But I mean, I will say that at the early stages, I mean, one of the reasons why we're doing things like the module, we're going to do the dogfighting at the end of this year, is so we can sort of get the kinks out, figure out kind of what the bandwidth requirements, loads, what works, what doesn't work, where the issues are, in a more controlled environment than when, hopefully, then at the end of it, when we were going fully live, and hopefully there'll be millions of people that want to play. We're doing it with the group of you guys, the backers out there. So we're trying hard, but part of the process is getting this out there and doing it. So I'm not going to pretend that the very first Hangar module is going to be flawless, because I actually suspect it'll probably be the roughest at the beginning, and then over time we'll get better as we figure out stuff and get the kinks going and figure out where all the pressure points are and ways to avoid them. So that's been part of the process. So if you would rather things don't crash, then you may want to wait a little bit. But I think it's fun helping us make this as fun and robust a process as possible. So we don't want it to happen, but I think at these early stages, it's probably going to happen. It's what it is. It's the early development. I mean, and the other thing I want to emphasize to everyone out there, since we're getting very close to the Hangar module, is that we are going to be sharing code in a much earlier state than I've ever shared in my life, even with a publisher. Normally on the games I've ever made, QA doesn't get any code until 2+ years into the development process.
Right.
So, we're relatively shortly into the development process here. So we're actually sharing code on a public basis and functionality on a public basis much sooner than I've ever done in my career, and I think probably much sooner than anyone's done in the industry. We're doing it. It's kind of it's an idea we have to do iterative development, involve everyone that's backed the game, because you made it happen and it's fun. And I think part of the fun of everything is participating in the journey and seeing how it's getting done and having your voice heard and everything else. So it's all in the spirit of that. But you have to remember that this is not a finely polished, honed, beautiful, bug-free piece of software that you would normally get towards the end. And by the way, a lot of games aren't even like that, even when they're at the end.
Even at the end.
So you're going to have a little bit of patience, especially in the short run. But long term, I think it's going to make a much better game, a much better polished game, a much more robust game when we get to the end, because usually you don't get this kind of stress testing early, you don't get this kind of feedback early. So it'll make a much better game, but it requires, a little bit of patience from you guys in the early days.
Yeah, and I think a lot of other developers are watching how we're doing this to see how this works. And
I mean, some are thinking we're crazy. Some are thinking it's cool. We'll see.
I definitely think we're crazy. All right, but that's okay. I think the fans get it. That's the point of this whole thing. From Andy's, he says, with all the fees for hangar insurance and upkeep, will this game turn into a job to keep up with all the costs? Can I take a 2-week vacation and not worry about money?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my big pet peeves is one of the reasons why we don't have a subscription model for the actual game itself, is that I don't think that anything should cost you any money if you're not playing the game. Yeah. So basically, the only issue you have is when you're actually playing the game, you're going to have running costs of playing it. You've got to pay some landing fees, or you're buying some cargo, or buying some more ammunition, getting some more missiles or something. But that's when you're actually doing stuff. So yes, to actually go and do stuff, there are some costs involved, and then hopefully you'll be doing well enough that you'll be making money and a profit. I mean, that's kind of how the real world works. But if you just go off somewhere for a month and your ship's sitting in the hangar, it's not like you're going to come back to a bill for your hangar for the unused time you haven't been flying around, which is actually a little different than real life, because you put stuff in storage in real life, they bill you. But no, you should not have to constantly be feeding money in if you're not playing the game. If you're playing it, then yes, there are some running costs, but hopefully your actions as a trader, as a pirate, as a merchant, as a bounty hunter, as an explorer, all the rest of the stuff, you should be at least breaking even, if not making money.
Well, there you go. From Kanisha, we know we can be blown to pieces in the game, but can we also die of asphyxia if our life support system is damaged in battle?
So yes, the answer is yes. The idea is we have all these ship systems on the ship, and so there are, the ship systems are, obvious things like engines, power plants, shields, weapons. We've talked about, cooling, radars, avionics. So that avionics would be things like your flight control system, targeting, weapon control systems, targeting software, but also life support's included, and we have all these individually modeled and they all communicate with each other, and so the life support goes to the cockpit module, and if that gets damaged, then yes, you're in trouble, and then you'll be essentially, if you have a spacesuit, you'll be on your spacesuit's air supply, and when that's up, you're dead. So if your life support gets taken out, then you probably would want to head out of the battle as quickly as possible, I would say.
So a good pilot might be able to aim at the life support system.
Yeah, no, the actual idea that we have is that the different, so it's beyond just hitting a ship like in the old days. You would just blast away a ship, knock down the shields, knock the armor down, and then it would blow up. Or maybe a little more advanced would be you'd do an internal hit and you'd roll a dice to see what of the internal systems got damaged. Well, in this we actually have specific positions on all the ships of where these items are, and they've got their own physicalized geometry. And so we actually trace whether it's a laser hit, a projectile hit, explosive hit, where it hits and what parts, the internal parts, once you've got through the shields, once you've got through the armor, what internal parts actually get hit. We actually do that correctly physically. So if you're someone that knows a ship where like say the life support would be, and you're using a certain kind of ammunition, so for instance, hard projectile ammunition has a different penetrative effect than say laser bolts, and so maybe that's an armor piercing round to go through a shell where the life support could be a way of doing a sort of a quicker, easier disable or kill, and but it's obviously that's much more difficult than just doing the general blast away and knock the shields and armor down. But that's kind of, we want that sort of nuance, and if you really understand the different ships and all the different pros and cons, maybe you get an advantage as a pilot in the battle, just like it would be in real life. So simple to get into, but there's a lot of complexity and detail if you go for it.
Good point. From Rush, have you guys done much with the Oculus Rift in the development process at this point? If so, what do you think of it so far?
We've got the Rift. We have it running inside the game in the engine. There's still some rough edges in terms of latency and a few other things that are to do more with some of the CryEngine side of things that we're working with Crytek on improving. So I'm not sure if the Oculus Rift support's going to make it in for the first version of the Hangar, but it's definitely going to be functional by the time we get to the dogfighting and maybe before that. So we're working, like I said, on the little things like latency and stuff like that. But it's cool. We love it. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think you can even purchase one of those right yet. So, I mean, the game, we'll have this out at Gamescom. I don't think you can get a retail version of the Oculus Rift right now.
No, there's definitely not a retail version. I mean, there's the development kit version,
which we have here.
Which we have, and I think you can get. But the really exciting Oculus Rift is going to be the 1080p version, not the one we've got, which is 720.
Right.
Because it just has high resolution, which is important because when the screen gets that close to your eye, you actually can discern pixels. So the 1080p is a better experience.
Right, so just wait for that. From Darth Izagarat and Razor Xerex.
Hi Eric and Chris. Darth Izagarat and Razor Xerex have a new awesome question for you. In Star Citizen we have capital ships like Corvette, frigate, destroyer, cruiser, and battle cruiser, but how do we manage the ship's logistics like helm, weapons, shield, and communication stations? Will it be as immersive and engaging as the game Artemis that strives to emulate the control structure of a seafaring ship, like what we see in Star Trek, where you have a ship's captain that sends instructions to the crew? Thank you in advance.
Helm, warp 1, engage!
Wow. Okay, well, there you go.
So no, the quick answer is that the idea on the bigger ships is that they definitely have different stations. So all our ships, even the small ones, have what are called seats inside our sort of spaceship or vehicle system, and you sit down and the seat has functions that are attached to that seat. So this function could be piloting the ship, the function could be controlling the weapons, the function could be controlling communications, the function could be controlling target assignment, or the function could be all of those things combined. So there's all these different functions that seats can be assigned. So in a single seater fighter, that generally happens is that the piloting and the weapons control are assigned to one seat, obviously. But in the bigger ships, that will be spread apart, and and obviously even weapons control will be spread apart between multiple seats, and then even when you get into a turret, that's actually also a seat, and that would be a turret that would just control that particular turret. So yes, we're going to actually have the aspect of multiple people in sort of multiple seats on a bridge on the raft doing different things, and so the idea is on the bigger ships you have to have multiple people to operate them efficiently because there's too many things going on for any one person to do control all at once. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be quite as detailed as the Artemis simulator, but it's in that direction, and certainly more so than any other space sim that's kind of in our mold has ever done.
All right, cool. From Hippo, how affordable will in-game insurance be for large ships not covered by LTI? Is there a model for insurance cost yet?
Look, the insurance is first of all, when you buy every ship that you buy comes with insurance. The only difference between standard hull insurance and lifetime insurance is really just re-upping the payment. So like right now, if you have a car, everybody has to pay every 3 months or 6 months or every year to keep their insurance valid, right? So the same is in our universe, and the only difference is when someone has lifetime insurance, they don't have to. They just basically the premium lasts forever, so they just don't have the additional costs of paying to re-up your insurance. But that generally, in the greater scheme of things, isn't meant to be a huge amount of money. Obviously, insurance on a bigger ship is more than insurance on a smaller ship, just like it would be in real life. But as a running cost, just like in real life, the insurance cost that you have on your spaceship in ours or in car in real life or something like that would not be like a ridiculous number. So you should be able to cover your insurance premiums and other things like landing fees and all the rest of the stuff, fuel costs, replenishing your hard ammunition, all that from your actual game action. So as long as you actually successfully manage to buy and sell some stuff or take over stuff or do a mission, you should be paying your running costs. So the sort of normal standard insurance really isn't that much different than lifetime insurance, other than lifetime insurance is just meaning that you have a slightly reduced running cost down the road. But I'd like to stress that overall that's a pretty insignificant amount of your general costs and a pretty insignificant amount of obviously what you'll be doing in the game.
Cool. From Soundcracker.
Prepare for EVA.
Okay, squad, listen up. We've got a job to do.
Will there be any sort of EVA combat? For instance, floating around in space with 6 degrees of freedom, fighting in an arena with unlimited dives?
Space junk.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So there is definitely going to be EVA in the game. You'll be able to get out and do things like repair, but also there'll be an element of combat in it. It's part of the plan, not particularly actually that difficult. There was actually already 0G support inside CryEngine. We're going to do more additions to it to make it cooler, but there's definitely going to be some level of EVA stuff. So there you go.
Awesome. From Kit Bash, when will we see updated ship specs on the website and or that nifty ship browser that Zane was showing off several months back on one of Eric's office walkarounds?
I think we're planning to have the sort of ship specs update page go live. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see.
It is today. In fact, there you go. How quickly was that? It's today. There you go. The man shows up and we get stuff done that day. All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you being here. And
you're welcome.
Let's take it away, Ben Lesnick.
Thank you guys, by the way.
Oh, let's see Ben and Most Valuable Post.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's Community Manager Ben Lesnick. Welcome to MVP Most Valuable Post. This week's Most Valuable Post of the forums is titled 18 Years Ago This Month. It's from a poster named Marcus Barek who sent a letter to Chris Roberts as a child and got a reply back, and he's posted the picture of the reply on the forums. So you can go see what kind of letters Chris Roberts was sending to his fans way back in 1996. I also received a special gift from a fan who saw last week's segment who thought that our hammer still wasn't quite big enough. You were good enough to send us this fellow. With a note, it says, I present to you, Ben Lesnick, the mighty Mjolnir, banhammer of the gods. From Corey, a.k.a. Jay Rayner. Well, thank you very much, Corey. We have modified it specifically for our purposes to stay away from the banhammer. That's all for this week. I will be at SynCon tomorrow, so come check it out. See you there.
Thanks, Ben. And now it's time for Wide World News. Last year, a private expedition founded by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos went out and found the rockets that launched Apollo 11. The F-1 rocket engines were found lying in pieces 14,000 feet below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. A team of oceanographers successfully recovered them with deep-sea ROVs. They were then delivered to the Kansas Cosmosphere and Space Center in Hutchinson, Kansas, where preservationists working with aerospace engineers from Wichita State University are carefully cleaning and scanning each component in order to reconstruct the engines. NASA's Saturn V was the most powerful rocket ever built. Each of its 5 engines was capable of generating more energy than the entire electrical grid of the United States. And now let's take a look back further in time with This Week in Space.
August 14th, 1966, and NASA's Lunar Orbiter 1 is entering its orbit around the Moon. Its mission? Photographing the Moon's surface. Along with its siblings, Lunar Orbiters 2 through 5, the 850-pound satellite will help NASA scientists discover the ideal landing spots for future Apollo program missions. Sweeping as low as 25 miles above the lunar surface, the orbiter's onboard cameras expose a continuous photographic strip. The film is then developed on the orbiter, scanned, and transmitted to Earth, where scientists reassemble the strips into a finished photograph. A stunning view of Earth rising above the lunar surface, the first ever taken from such a great distance. A total of 189 images will be transmitted to Earth by Lunar Orbiter 1, a grand accomplishment for the first American spacecraft to orbit the Moon. Lunar Orbiter 1, expanding the frontiers of human knowledge in space.
And that is your Wide World News. And now here's our very own Sandy Gardner talking with this week's Hot Seat Man, Blake Yates.
Hi everybody, I'm here with Blake Yates, and he is one of our new guy designers.
That's my official title.
Tell us a bit about your background, Blake.
Well, I was working in Dallas. I graduated from the Guildhall, if any of you have heard of that, which is with an interactive technology degree. And then I was working in Dallas for a while, and then I went on my own, just kind of doing some indie stuff, and then now I'm here.
Of course, you played Chris Roberts' games then.
Yes, I did indeed. I actually ruined several computers trying to get enough EMS. Like I was running RAM Doubler and MemMaker, for those of you that remember the old DOS days.
You got a ship in your hangar yet?
I do, but it's the $45 one.
It's Blake Yates, everybody.
Wow, so you were interviewed the second day you were here?
That's right.
So we weren't able to ask you a lot of questions then about what you're doing on Star Citizen. So
I was so young and naive.
And now you've grown old, and the beard has grown longer.
And the beard has gotten shorter somehow.
That's true. So you've been here a few months. So what are you working on now?
Right now, I'm placing some decals in the hangar, making it look a little more grungy, look a little bit lived in. Mm-hmm. Man, I've been doing all kinds of things. I've been writing documentation. I've been jumping into some technology stuff. So yeah.
Having fun?
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's most development, you just sort of, you get something done and then you put it out there. We're not getting anything done. We're putting it out before it's done, you know.
I mean, a lot of people say that they're building the plane as they fly it.
Yeah.
We are building the plane as we fly it while it's on fire.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And exploding all over the sky for everybody to see. So yeah, for sure.
Exploding though in a good way.
In like fireworks. In the best possible
in a positive way. Explosion.
Yeah.
So what's been the most surprising thing working here so far?
Oh gosh, the most surprising thing? How awesome we all are, and yet how I meet that level of awesomeness. So we just all combined together.
Yeah, I think, yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you're awesome because, I think they're awesome, so.
Right, for sure. No, the fans are,
It's crazy. I think that's been surprising, actually, is the amount of support we get for this game in particular.
I think, I just wrote that in the forums. Like, I think our fans are going to be absolutely unique among fans. I think we're creating a whole new way of doing this kind of thing, and I think our fans are a huge part of that.
Yeah, and we might stub our toe along the way a little bit here and there.
We absolutely will, because we're all brand new. So
yeah, it's a brand new way of doing things, and I think everybody's paying attention to how we're doing it, and so we'll blaze a trail for them along the way.
What works, notes for sure.
Yeah, exactly. What works, what doesn't.
Right.
So, what are you looking forward to the most in the game? Are you going to be a pirate, a merchant, a style of play? Are you going to do?
Oh my goodness. I'm always interested in being out there on the edges. Like many of our fans, I'm definitely going to be out there exploring. But I also really like the notion of a big multi-person ship. I played a little Artemis from time to time, and I like that notion of all cooperating and going together. And of course, everybody loves Firefly and Cowboy Bebop and all that stuff. I want to play out all of those adventures.
Cool, and that is kind of the fun thing of this, is the sandbox approach that you can kind of be what you want to be in this thing. So you've got the beard, and it's gotten shorter.
It's gotten shorter. I shaved it for a wedding, so I was asked to shave it. So
all the way off?
Yeah, I took it all the way off. So it's slowly coming back. It's a long, slow process.
It's not because it's August and it's like 7,000 degrees outside.
No, it's like it's like dog hair. It actually keeps me cooler. It traps the.
In case you we have like so many people in the office right now. There's not a lot of cool areas to be. It's cool like at 8:30 or so when some of us get in the morning. It's not so cool by 4 or 5.
Right, you got to get here early to get the cold air.
To enjoy the cold air.
Right,
And then it gets sucked right out of the day. So, what do you hope to be doing, 5-ish years from now?
Oh, you mean on Zardis?
Well, just what do you want
or can we not tell them about that planet yet?
Well, I don't know if we can tell them about that. In general, what are you hoping to be doing?
I don't want to give away the plans for the mining operation I'm going to have on Zardis.
Oh, okay.
But, because this is all very speculative right now. We're looking at, getting...
By the way, we're being attacked by a gnat fly in here as we're speaking.
Because, of course, there's a lot of groundwork you got to lay for a successful mining operation.
Oh, okay.
We might have to have, a Kickstarter, if we really want to...
a Kickstarter for your mining operation?
Well, of course, in fiction.
In fiction. Wait, Space Starter.
Holy cow.
It's Citizen Starter.
Citizen Inception.
Citizen Inception. Going crazy. Well, everybody, I want to say, hey, thanks to Blake for joining us here today. I want to thank Ben Lesnick for MVP, and of course, Herr Roberts for stopping by and giving us some much-needed forum feedback. Again, thank you very much to subscribers and pledgers, and subscribers in particular. It's your support that allows us to continue to update the website and be able to do these things like Wingman's Hangar for the community. You are very, very appreciated. We certainly are appreciated. And by the way, new shirt, right? Like the new shirt. Yep. Coming up this week, Gamescom. It's going to be a little different. We'll have to announce how we're going to do the hangar, as I said earlier. We probably won't be able to shoot one and put it up and stream it like normal. We'll have to just put some sort of thing together and get it up there for the regular time. We'll have something up there for you. We're shooting the hangar episode next Friday in Germany at a beer garden. Might have to jump off the diet. Oh, speaking of Wingman's Weight, we didn't do Wingman's Weight. Well, where are we this week? We started at 236 pounds. And now, last week we made it all the way down to 212. So this week, where are we? 211. I know, it's only a pound, but it's still going the right way. And I almost totally forgot all about that. I'm glad I got it back in. Listen, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's how you get all the cool videos. You find out things before anybody else. You get a little update. It tells you when we post something, and we have some really cool stuff. If it wasn't for perhaps our commercial director having a baby, we'd probably have some other stuff out right now. But be patient. Life happens to all of us. Submit your questions to the RSI. Well, what do you mean?
Life happens. This is happy occasion. This is great news.
It is great news. I know, but for some of the fans, they're like, "Where's my thing?" And you're like, "Well, you just, sometimes things get in the way."
A new life happens to you.
A new life happens. That's right. So submit your questions to the RSI forum here, and if you want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in. We just might use it. Don't forget Wingman's Hangover coming up 15 minutes after the show. So, where are we going to see him? In the verse.
To Jurassic Park. We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
The most phenomenal discovery of our time.
How'd you do this?
Becomes the greatest adventure of all time.
Can I touch it?
Sure.
Universal Pictures presents.
You feel that?
Hold on to your butts.
A Steven Spielberg film.
This is a feeling all over the park.
Look out! Go!
I can't get Jurassic Park back online.
65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
Clever girl.
Stand by. Stand by.